Hello everyone, my name is Nikki Wheeler and today I will be presenting a speech on composting. Unfortunately, I just got off work at 11 o'clock and I do not have an audience to watch me, so it will just be me. I have attached a visual aid. It's a pamphlet on what composting is and how to compost yourself at home, so it's pretty neat, but I want to start with my speech. So, the ground's generosity takes in our compost and grows beauty. Try to be more like the ground. Rumi. A Persian poet and scholar, Jalaluddin Rumi, believed that we should treat the world with respect and take care of it, so that she will continue to take care of us. One very simple way we can take care of our environment is to take our food organic waste and make compost. I chose this subject today because composting is an important factor in our ecosystem, and I do it every day from the comfort of my own home. The general points I'll make in our discussion today is what composting is, the benefits of composting in our daily lives, and how it can affect the earth, and if we do decide to stand up together and combat climate change by composting, what will happen. My goal is to raise awareness about our individual production of organic waste and explain how people can solve this issue by composting. Examples and the benefits of composting, and ultimately persuade individuals to participate to help the environment and improve our soil quality. Everyone's contribution, no matter how small, has meaning if we all stand up and decide to contribute. Let's start with composting, what composting actually is. In the act of accumulating organic matter and water that decomposes into a compost that can be added to soil as a source of nutrients for an ecosystem, including plant life. That's from the USA EPA website. It's a fact. To begin, the microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi and protozoas start the breakdown of organic matter. As organic material is softened to a paste, the invertebrates include insects, isopods, and millipedes, earwigs, and worms. They go through and they shred, and then they scrape, they suck, and then they spit out and excrete all of their castings. Through their actions, all organic matter is reduced down to a dark, crumbly compost. This material, rich in nutrients and minerals, can be readily absorbed by plants and effectively recycles all of your organic waste. That's through Ralston, 2016. The basic ingredients of composting are your browns, your greens, and your water. These three ingredients mixed together will break down leftover food and turn it into organic molecules, nutrients, and minerals that will enrich our soils and reduce our emissions upon the world. Your browns will include dead leaves, branches, and twigs. Your greens will include like grass clippings, vegetable waste, fruit caps, and coffee grounds, interestingly enough. Lastly, having the right amount of water mixed with your greens and your browns can create a great compost. It comes together and binds like a sticky paste. It is proved as a survey among Americans in 2017 regarding the reasons why they don't compost. 20% said it was too much work, and 38% said that they didn't have the space in their own homes to do it. Personally, I've been composting for years. I do grow plants on my balcony in a small 1,100 square foot apartment, and I compost every day. It's relatively easy to do, and it helps me, make the soil a lot more enriched in all of my plants. My balcony is actually right out there, and I've got plants out there. Some of the various items that I use to compost are coffee grounds, hair from your pets, interestingly enough, dryers and vacuum cleaner, lint, eggshells, and a few other items can make a really great compost. Some of the things that you can't compost are going to be dairy items like cheese and milk, fats, grease, lard, or oil, as well as fish bones. And you can't compost pet waste as well. So we've kind of talked about what composting is and how our organic waste is produced. Now let's consider what the benefits of composting are in our daily lives. Some of the main benefits of composting that you can immediately see the effect of is that it enriches your soil. It reduces down the need for chemical fertilizers and ensures the production of beneficial bacteria and fungi that can break down all the organic matter to improve the soil quality. Hawaii Mondays, a resource discovery specialist and educator in composting and vermicomposting, she teaches that within a compost environment, billions of organisms coexist in the same compost ecosystem. Composting at home not only keeps the materials out of your landfills, it keeps the material from being transported too. Because of many organic waste contains a lot of water, there are some of the heaviest waste, and not transporting these heavy wastes saves more fuel and energy. And that's from a statistic through Lesson More. Compost not only provides basic nutrients that are supplied by chemical fertilizers, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphates, provides a wide array of trace minerals and other nutrients not available in the chemical fertilizers. When we lessen our dependence on artificial fertilizers, it reduces the associated environmental problems, which includes water pollution, as well as nitrogen from the fertilizers can cause algae blooms in the lakes and the oceans, which radically alters the coastal ecosystem. Chemical fertilizers also lead into groundwater and contaminates drinking water wells as well. So essentially you are drinking chemicals as well. If we contribute a little bit of compost at a time, the world could potentially have less mitigate climate change and what we can experience rather than what we can experience now. I mean, with all the hurricanes going on and drastic colds or drastic hots in the climate over the years, we can definitely try to combat some of that. So we've talked about the benefits of composting. Now let's see how composting relates to the bigger picture of climate change and what our ecosystem is doing exactly. So compost assists with the reduction of climate change and global warming. Unfortunately, we don't compost. When we don't compost plant and organic matter, they all end up in landfills and they don't decay cleanly. The layers of the trash that builds on top of each other, the plant matter creates an anaerobic environment. Unfortunately, food scraps and yard waste currently make up about 20 to 30% of what we throw away into all of our landfills, and when most of it could potentially be composted. Instead, it's just being thrown. And that's another statistic from our USA EPA. So most of our compost keeps these materials out of our landfills where they take up so much space and then they release a lot of methane CO2 gas, which are greenhouse gases. These airless environments cause the plant matter, as it's decaying, to produce methane gas. And this greenhouse gas has potential of being more potent, 21 times more potent than any carbon dioxide emission that we have. Consequently, composting helps minimize landfills, contributing to climate change. Our environment can additionally directly benefit from composting because it allows our plants to grow larger and stronger, which converts CO2 into greenhouse gases and the air into different sugars to use by the plants via photosynthesis. Less greenhouse gases means less warming of our atmosphere and our oceans. If we all contributed just a little bit at a time, we could aid in causing less climate change, which means a decrease in natural disasters, including hurricanes, tornadoes, and droughts. They would all over the world. We have discussed the potential of global impacting of composting. Now let's wrap up our call to action. So we've discussed what composting is, some of the benefits of composting in our own lives, and how it potentially could positively affect the earth as a whole. As an overview, compost is made out of organic material, decomposing aided by microbes and microinvertebrates. This compost provides minerals and nutrients for plants to grow healthy. And some of the many benefits that directly affects us is that composting can reduce volumes in landfills, improving soil quality and minimalizing the harmful inorganic fertilizers. Composting is very simple, and it's a great way to reduce all of the methane gases that we emit, lowering our carbon footprint on the environment, and ultimately maintaining a healthy environment for our future generations. Right now, please think of your future. If you're leaving for your children, if you are leaving for your children, what kind of world are they going to grow up in? Caring for the well-being of our earth now is going to directly affect them positively in the future. If every home composted and recycled nutrients back into our soils, it would dramatically impact climate change and would keep the earth clean and healthy. So, by the words of Rumi, why don't we all try to be a little more like the ground and give back? Here is your chance to take accountability for your own carbon footprint. Thank you so much, and I have attached a pamphlet on how to create your own little compost at home. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful rest of your evening.